This is the TSG Multimedia Podcast, bringing you the best train, model railroad, and historic preservation news, updates, and information since 2010.
We're sponsored this month by the TSG Train Crew on Patreon and by ModelRailroadControlSystems.com, electronics for operations.
And by O-Scale West, featuring S-Scale, O-Scale, and Narrow Gauge.
And by Podomatic, a podcast hosting and distributing platform. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm John, your host, and welcome to the TSG Multimedia Podcast, where you get a look at the behind-the-scenes goings-on here at TSG Multimedia. We're doing something different this month by giving our Patreon supporters some prime real estate right at the outset. Without their support, the content you enjoy on this channel would not be possible. If you like what we do here, join the TSG Train Crew by going to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia and see what you've been missing out on. We also have sponsors, and I have included links to their respective websites in the written description of this program. Thanks to everyone who helps us create the content for this channel. Right now, we're at what I call THRA Weekend, which consists of the West Side Reunion as well as the Sierra Seminar. I'm sure you'll hear more about both of these events on next month's podcast. Anyway, April was another very busy month, including some train-related events as well as a few op sessions. We're also going to hear from the people who put on O-Scale West over Memorial Day weekend. So let's get right to it. We're doing something today. There's a train show here at Hiller Aviation Museum. I think it's mostly a toy train show. So I'm here with Kevin and family. We're going to check it out. So I'm over here looking at this thing here, and of course Kevin knows all about it. What is this thing?
So this was made by the Heartland Locomotive Works, and a lot of people think that it's a botched Heisler. Not a very good model of a Heisler, but it's actually not. It's a model of a Dunkirk, which predates the Heisler. Heisler based his design off of this, but the difference with the Dunkirk is instead of having the cylinders in a V, they're horizontal under the locomotive. You can see one cylinder is here. The other one would be on the other side.
Oh, I see.
And that's as opposed to having them in a V like a Heisler locomotive.
It seems like a small cylinder, too, compared to the Heisler. I mean, I'm assuming that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you've never been to Hiller Aviation Museum, it's a pretty cool place. They have all kinds of little aircraft models or examples. And of course, if you can come during the train show, it's even better. So then you also have all the layouts. So they have basically two main rooms or hangars, I guess, if you will, at this museum. And this is the second one. It's populated with a lot more stuff than what we saw in that first one. This is one of my favorite exhibits here. Looks like the Red Baron and his triplane. Look, it even has the the machine guns on it.
Hi, I'm Chris Cross with the Golden Gate Lionel Railroad Club. We are here at Hiller during their spring train event. We are running O-gauge trains for an entire week, running trains for the public. If you have an opportunity, you ought to come out and see us. By the way, we're looking for members, so if you like Lionel or 3-Rail, by all means, go to our website and click and see what you've got to find.
I was just noticing they also have these engines. How cool is that? So we have trains and planes here this weekend. It's really cool stuff. And yet more engines. You like helicopters? They have those too. They even have a rather large airplane in here. I recently did a model build on the channel, and on the model build, I commented that I hadn't built a model since I was a kid. And this is the kind of models I used to build when I was a kid. They have a whole display here of these models. And it's not just what's in this case, it's also what's in this case. I probably built the exact same versions of these models that they're showing here. Some of them. Oh, look, there's more. I remember some of these. Oh, look, there's more. This is the last one, but the point is the same. That's pretty cool. This is one of the other kind of cool things they have here at Hiller, is you can sit in the cockpit of a 747, and you can see there's a lot of stuff to look at in here.
Hold on a second.
I'm not sure what all this stuff was for, but there's a lot of it. And then downstairs, it's also part of the 747. So they don't have the whole 747 here. It's just the front part of it where the cockpit was and the little staircase that led up to first class. I remember 747s when I was a kid. So this is actually at a general aviation airport. And we're out back now where that 747 is. And you can see they have viewing platforms. So you could sit here and watch the airplanes go in and out. Here's one taking off just now.
Hi, I'm David Barrett. I'm part of what's called the meter gauge module group, which is actually an HO scale modular setup, but it's narrow gauge, and it's modeling meter gauge, narrow gauge lines in Switzerland. This particular station here is a real place called Chambly. The other parts that we're modeling are not specific to any exact location in Switzerland, but we are modeling things that are suggestive of being in the alpine locations with slopes and narrow gauges, tunnels, bridges, that kind of thing. So again, this is modeled after a real place, pretty close to Lake Geneva. The cool thing about this is that you have to really operate it. It's a single track main line, and at stations you basically pull a train in from a distant location into your station. You can do it from either side. So basically you have to plan to have train meets at these stations. We do this all manually. It's not DCC, it's pure analog DC blocks. And old school, really. I'd say it's kind of like driving a manual transmission car, where you're shifting gears a lot. Here we're changing directions of each little piece of track as we move the trains in one direction or the other, or stop them in a particular location. But these are models of real trains in Switzerland. They're very accurately represented by these models. Most of them are made by the BMO Corporation, which is a German company. It's kind of specialized in Swiss narrow gauge stuff. We're based around the Bay Area, although we have some friends from Sacramento. We're basically affiliated loosely with a European train enthusiast. And we come here to the Hiller Aviation Museum basically twice a year. The springtime, like now, and for the Euro-West show, which is usually in mid-July. So we know the dates of the Euro-West show will be July 12th and 13th. So there'll be a chance for you to come see Swiss narrow gauge trains and really other European trains at the Euro-West show in July.
Hey, my name is Dale Smith. I'm the treasurer of the Golden Gate American Flyer Club. We started back in 1970 and we're still going good today. We have meetings every month, one live meeting in the Bay Area and one Zoom meeting. We also have members who live quite a distance from the Bay Area, and we have special membership for them. So wherever you are, you're eligible to join. And we come to shows like this and display our modules, which we put together. Sometimes it isn't quite as big as it is here today, but we usually have a pretty good size layout at any of the train shows, like the Great American Train Show and other shows like that. We have a website where you can get information about joining. Also, we have sponsored several club cars over the years, and some of them are still available for purchase if you're interested. That's also on the website. I personally do a couple of historical websites on American Flyer, and covering both American Flyer displays and Gilbert HO. The Gilbert HO site is pretty much everything you wanted to know about Gilbert, and the American Flyer site is pretty much about the American Flyer displays in places like the Hall of Science and the department stores. AmericanFlyerDisplays.org and GilbertHO.org, and our club website is ggafc.org. So you can get all kinds of information there about our websites and our club.
And so that's it from the train show at Hiller Aviation Museum. Got to see some friends and make some new ones. Really cool. It's a great event. You should come if you ever have a chance to. I'm here today in Mountain View at the UP 1999 layout with Seth Neumann. We're going to do something train related. He needed to borrow, or I don't know if he's borrowing or what, some locomotives, and we're going to do some product spotlights because I'm here and happen to have some Class 1 model work stuff. And it's kind of become a tradition for us to do those together. So should be fun. MRCS, that's Model Railroad Control Systems, is a sponsor of this podcast. And I thought, since I'm here, Seth, I said, Seth, what do you have that's new for MRCS that maybe we could show? And he just happened to have something, and we're looking at it, right? What is this?
Well, this is, our MTB switch motors.
Did you say MTV?
MTB.
I want my MTB.
Not quite like that, although it's possible. I mean, we could get some, dancing checks and be fun.
Yeah. These are the MP motors, right? Is that what that is?
Right. So this is the latest version of MP motors. So this is DC control. The motor works fine on DC and DCC layouts. And This, I think, was originally intended for the European market, but what we've got here is a motor that's similar to our MP4, but it's optimized for push-button control. So if you had been using solenoid-type motors like Pico switches, this is really designed for you. The layout is such that you can have push buttons to throw it in either position. And with the MP4, it was really designed for a toggle switch. It would run for a couple of seconds and then stop. With these, you just press the button. There's actually an internal latching relay, and even a quick press causes it to move to the other direction. Another press brings it back in the other. So if you're using push button control, it's great. And you may think, well, that's not a big deal for me. But it's important if you have motors that have to be controlled from multiple places. Imagine you have a module and it could be arranged in either direction, so you have to have controls on either side. Mm-hmm. Or even on a fixed layout, you might have a peninsula where there's a switch that needs to be controlled from either side of the peninsula, or maybe a Y. Typically the back of the Y isn't accessible and you need to be able to control it from a couple of places. And this is very easy because you can just put multiple push buttons in parallel, and then it's got outputs that can drive really as many LEDs as you want to show the position. So, it's a very nice little optimization. And in fact, I just shipped some to a club in Florida, which has the modular issue, that they need to control on both sides because they're never know in advance which way they're going to set up the module.
Right.
So it's yet another option for you. We do have a little document on our website called Which MTB Motor is Right for Me, and we keep updating it as MTB expands their product line.
And I guess that's what's new at MRCS. Thank you.
That's what's new for now. Thank you, John.
Okay, so it's a little bit later, and we're just wrapping up with the business we had to do today. I brought some... Apparently, I'm the locomotive guy because I brought some locomotives for Seth to use on the layout for, what is it, like some special photo shoot or something you're doing?
Well, actually, we have been long promising a second installment of an article that first ran in RMC several years ago. And our good friend and one of the editors, Harry Wong, is going to be down in the next couple of weeks. And we need some new locomotives to just not be shooting the same train every time. And, of course, John always seems to have a stock of late 90s era appropriate locomotives, so he brought a few by. And so that was a really nice opportunity to, trade some equipment and prepare for, another shoot.
Right. And while we're at it, this always happens. I happen to have some Class 1 Model Works models that I need to do spotlights on. So we recorded that at the same time. I think I mentioned that a minute ago when I first got here. But and also while we were at it, he got a sparkly new shiny hat.
Yes, exactly.
That's very stylish.
Very nice.
Wow.
TSG swag, it looks very good, and I can kind of hide under the bill. So
you'll actually do that. You look better that way.
Exactly.
That's great. I need one of those.
There we are. Or was it supposed to be worn this way?
No, definitely not.
There's no TSG on that side.
Yeah. That way only the people behind you can see what it says. And, yeah. Anyway, we didn't have any fun today, so don't worry. You didn't miss anything. But I'll catch you on the next update. Hi, this is April 16th, and we just finished a live Talking Trains show with Micro K, who was talking about organizing large collections of really anything, but it was supposed to be in the context of doing collections of train photos. And it was actually I wasn't sure really when we were talking about doing it, but it turned out to be very interesting.
There's a lot of aspects to it regarding being able to quickly search for things that you actually want to show somebody or things like that. If you want to look at everything you took during a certain year or a certain engine over the years or certain layouts over the years, that kind of thing, it's really useful. I think the more interesting that we got into at the end is how do you make these things so that they're always going to be there, getting into the backup aspects, that kind of thing. So
Well, I learned a lot and learned a lot of shortcomings in my own process
there is that.
that I might need to think about how I'm doing these things. So it's Talking Trains Live, talking to Micro K about, get organized is what it's called. So if you missed us live, it's definitely worth catching on the replay. So thanks for coming for that, Murph. It's always fun. We get to hang out
We had a great
on
time.
these days. Yeah. And we had, our traditional Italian lunch, and it's just nice, a good excuse to hang out.
Yep.
Hey, we're doing something train related today. We're at Rick Fortin's 4th District ATSF layout once again, doing an op session. And this first job I'm working today is an Amtrak train. I haven't done this one before. I think it's just an over the layout train. And it's a passenger train, so it should have priority over most of the other trains. So, but as usual, we're having fun.
The biggest trains I ever switched were the layout in Tulsa. And fortunately, all the car cars.
It's a perfect day outside, and we're standing inside. Charlie, what kind of jobs are you doing today at this op session?
I ran the SPB train extra this morning, and now I'm working with Dave Adams. We're working on the dirt.
Dave Adams? I've heard of that guy. Oh, there he is. Too many Dave. There's another Dave. Dave and Dave and Dave and Dave.
There's too many Daves around here.
I did earlier. I will check on
So this is actually the next morning, and I just wanted to take a second, since I didn't really do a wrap-up yesterday, to do a wrap-up this morning and just say that was another really great op session at Rick Fortin's place. He has a layout that just works, and the session, the story that he tells, is always interesting. So I did some jobs that I haven't done before and had a great time. So thanks, Rick, for having us once again. And thanks, of course, to Dave and Charlie for coming to pick us up on your way over there. And this is really what op sessions are about. It's not just having fun with the railroad and the stories, but also hanging out with a bunch of people that you know and like. And that's what it was yesterday. I mean, I think we had 15 or 16, maybe as many as 18 people there, including us. And, we got to play with the trains, do a little role play there, doing the train jobs. And we had some good lunch together and went back for round 2. It was just a great time. So again, that's what op sessions are for. That's what we do. And you learn something and you have fun with your friends. So thanks to everybody. I'm doing something kind of railroad related today. You may have noticed at the beginning of the podcast this month that there was a sponsor in the lower right corner of the intro. That's O-Scale West. And O-Scale West is an interesting show that I haven't been to. So to help me understand what it is and to help you understand what it is, I'm going to bring on a couple of guys that I've met recently. I've been friends with one of them on Facebook for years, and I'm sure that I've met the other one up at the West Side reunion that I've been talking about for the past couple of months. And let me bring them on real quick here, and we're going to have a conversation about this O-Scale West event because it seems like a really cool thing. So to my right on the screen, we have Rod Miller, who's been putting on O-Scale West forever. And then Rod Jensen below me here on the screen, or below us, I should say, has been an attendee and is on the planning committee for the event this year. Thanks for joining me, guys. I think this will be interesting because I want to find out more about this thing. And I want to thank you because I'm going to be going to it at least on Saturday and probably doing a podcast segment about it for the next podcast. So Rod Miller, I'm going to call you Main Rod because you're the main guy that's been doing this. I think you started O Scale West, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
Right? And Rod Jensen below me, we're going to call you Side Rod so we can keep on the train nomenclature here. So
I like it.
Right? Main Rod, could you talk a little bit about, what made you start O Scale West and what is it?
Well, the O Scale West is a model train show. And originally it was focused upon people who model in O scale, which is a 1/48th proportion to the real thing. And at that time I was modeling and discovered that there really wasn't much activity in O scale on the West Coast in terms of get-togethers. And so I started this event in 1991, and it's been going headstrong annually for every year except for the COVID shutdowns. So we're 35 years old and we've had 35 consecutive annual meets.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But now, Side Rod, have you been going the whole time, like from its inception?
Absolutely. Back in the days when it was in the Dunphy Hotel in San Mateo. Remember that, Main Rod, where you started? That was quite the thing. At the time, I was probably on the fence in HON3. And a little side story, it was Cliff Grant. Actually, I think I was 16 at the time. He said to me, son, at some point your eyes are going to go, move up to a larger scale now. And look, there's the glasses. Hey, Main Rod, how come you don't have glasses?
I need them.
What's going on? Hey, there's something else. We all have hair. This is unusual.
Yeah.
A little gray.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think mine's all gray. I used to have a joke where I was looking in the mirror one day when it wasn't quite this white, and my wife walked by and she's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm starting to get some salt and pepper. And she says, yeah, more salt and less pepper. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. So, but anyway, that's all beside the point here. This year, and now my understanding is that O Scale West is held every Memorial Day. And this year, I think it's like the 23rd through the 26th or something like that. Maybe you can tell us. Actually, you know what? Let me bring this up. The 23rd through the 25th. So that's a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday. What exactly is going on? Because they're not all the same, right? Friday's one thing and Saturday and Sunday are something different, right?
That's correct. Friday is typically the day when our people who come into the show as vendors set up, and visiting portable layouts also come in and set up on Friday. We do have external activities on Friday also. We have home layout visits. We have a special event at the Niles Canyon Railroad, and I'm going to defer to Side Rod to talk about that.
Niles Canyon actually doesn't operate over Memorial holidays, so we've scheduled a special tour for registered guests of O Scale West. So you have to register, and then there'll be a process to get your name on the list so we know how many people to tell them. But this is a behind-the-scenes tour of the yard and the shops. And if you don't know about Niles Canyon, they roster 24 steam and diesel locomotives and have over 75 pieces of passenger and freight equipment, a lot of the stuff from the daylight. It's quite John, you've done some video on that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've been a member at Niles Canyon for 15 or 20 years, something like that. And if you can get a behind the scenes tour, it's worth it because they have equipment that doesn't come out all the time, and you can't just go into their yard and walk around. So that's a good thing that you've added. Is this the first time you're doing this for the event?
Yes, it is. And that's all included as part of your attendance at the show. That'll be the afternoon, but we have layout tours happening that evening.
Well, let me go back to the Friday activities. So what we're doing in addition to vendors coming in and setting up is individuals who are not vendors can come in and register. In fact, if you haven't registered online, which you can do at the website, you can walk up and register. And that registration will cost you $50. That includes you, your spouse, and all modelers under 18 in your family. Actually, not in your family. They just have to be models under 18. And that $50 includes everything for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so on to Friday night, we have several home and club model railroads open for people to come and visit. And you can see what these crazy people do with their trains. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
We have some world-class, I'm talking about Yosemite Valley with Jack Burgess. Rod, you're even going to be open, aren't you?
That's correct. I'm open Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm thinking? What I'm hearing right now is that I need to do a video at your layout, Rod, because you're the only one he just mentioned that we haven't done a video of your layout yet.
Happy to have you.
Oh, well, we'll have to arrange it. We'll arrange that offline sometime.
All right. Great.
But I want to mention, though, that these layout open houses are a really, really great way to get all kinds of inspiration and to often get one-on-one with these people that have built these things to ask them questions, right? Because you might not know how someone did something, and you could be at Jack Burgess's, for example, and if you ask him, well, how did you make this, or how did you make it look this way? He'll tell you. There's no secrets with these people, and we live in such a great area that the modelers are really, really good. And I'm not saying that they're not good in other places, but we have some, like you were saying, Rod, world-class modelers in this area. Yes. That they're all, as the ones I've met, are all very open to explain how they did stuff and help people out. So that's really cool.
Here's one other benefit that Rod and I have discussed. We don't do this formally, but for instance, I have a minivan, and I'm happy to fill that up with maybe 4 or 5 people, and we could all tour together, because I've been to these layouts. I know how to get there. I know I have GPS or on screen, depending on which vehicle. So that's important, because you want to try to do as much as you can in the evening.
Oh, sure. So Friday's Niles Canyon, which, by the way, is probably worth the $50 alone. If you're getting people into Brightside Yard, people are going to see stuff there that you just don't see anywhere else, and they're going to see equipment that almost never runs.
Absolutely.
But now, right? So then there were the layout open houses that evening.
Right.
Saturday is like a train show.
The doors open at 9:00, and let me tell you, if you've never been to O-Scale West, there is some unobtainium. You want to be there at 9:00.
Oh, grab the good stuff before it's gone. Is that what you're saying?
Well, could be.
I think all train shows are like that, though. You try to get in there Saturday morning if you're trying to find specific things. But if you want to find the really cheap stuff, you go Sunday afternoon, because they're ready to leave and they don't want to haul everything back, whoever's selling stuff, right?
Yep.
There's a little pro tip.
And this year we've added 2 club layouts right in Santa Clara within 5 minutes of the convention. The California Central at the Agnew Depot, and the South Bay Railroad Society is going to be open. Their layout, they have a museum, a passenger car, and I believe they'll open up the interlocking tower.
This convention, you're saying the doors open. So this is actually happening. Where is this happening?
Okay. Well, actually, you can walk up and register at 8:00 and join the crowd waiting to get in at 9:00. And all this happens at the Hyatt Regency Santa Clara Hotel in Santa Clara. So that's one of the nice things about a show. The Hyatt Regency is a nice place to go to a train show. You're not at a fairgrounds. You've got restrooms, you've got carpets, you've got a restaurant, you've got a bar. And so it's a great place to attend a train show. That you can go out of the ballroom and find a place to sit down and relax and see how much money you've got left. All kinds of good things to do.
Did you say free parking too, Ron?
There is free parking in the convention center parking garage. And it's a short walk from there into the hotel. And that's important. We had a train show one time where it cost $4 to get into the parking. And if you left and came back, you had to pay $4 again. $4 is in 1991, of course. Now it's $25 probably. In addition to the swap meet, which we have alluded to, some manufacturers will be there with showing and possibly selling their products. We have a place called the company store, and a couple of activities that happen in the company store is we have what we call a white elephant sale. And the white elephant is something that an individual considers what they've got is a white elephant. They don't think they're going to ever be able to sell it or whatever it is that makes it a white elephant. For them, they can put it in a sale, and it will probably sell. I sold a 3 by 2 foot print of a steam locomotive that was like an albatross, and I put it in a white elephant sale, sold for $5 to somebody who really wanted it. And I thought that was great.
I'm going to take advantage of this, John. And I don't know if you know, I used to own a model scenery company called K&S Scenery. We made trees. And I'm going to be bringing the machine that punched the leaves, and with inventory, and somebody can start themselves a little business if they want. And so that's kind of unique.
Maybe they could even pick your brain about how to run it.
Absolutely. I wanted to go to someone that will continue to offer this to the modeling community. So
if somebody buys the business, do they get so many hours of consultation from you?
You bet. I need leaves too. I just get too old to punch them with the machine.
So the other thing we have in addition to the white elephant sale is a silent auction. And this is people who put things in the silent auction. There's a sign-up sheet, and you can walk up and look at the sign-up sheet. If there's something you want to outbid somebody, you write down your bid. And it gets pretty crowded when the auction closes, so you imagine it's kind of fun. And one of the benefits of one of these things is you don't have to rent a table, which costs you $50 in addition to your admission, to sell things. If you have a very few things to sell, you can put them in a white elephant sale at a silent auction. We have a model contest where people who have built models and they want to display them, and it's a competition where people who view the contest can vote on the models they like. It's a favorite model contest. There's no judging. It's just whatever people like the most. And it's an interesting contest. One year we had some entries of the Arrowhead water train. Maybe you didn't know it, but at one time, Arrowhead bottled water was brought into the bottling plant by train that went up into the mountains and brought back special train car loads of water. And somebody built a model of that train and entered it in a contest. And things like that you'll never see anywhere else. They're kind of a once-in-a-lifetime things to see. So the contest is really fun and interesting from that point of view. The contest is pretty much a Saturday-only event. The models are displayed, voted on, and prizes awarded, and models picked up on Saturdays. So it's a Saturday-only event. But another activity we'll be having both Saturday and Sunday is clinics, which are seminars where modelers come in and present how they built something or how they made something. And it's an interactive session. You can ask questions. It's a great way to learn modeling techniques. And we'll have some amazing clinics. There's one man who has built things. He's thinking out of the box on how to build a structure. The people build model structures been building model structures for decades. But this man, Phil Edholm, has chosen a different approach, and it's really unique and very interesting and shouldn't be missed.
I think I've seen Phil's clinic, and you're right. He does think outside.
Yeah.
He's been on my channel before a number of times for different things, and one of them was his approach to building with 3D 3D printing technology, and I think plexiglass boxes.
Yes,
because he has modular stuff that has to withstand being transported, so he needs to make it very strong. And if it's the same clinic, that alone would be worth going for, because he has very creative ideas of how to do things.
Okay. Speaking of 3D printing, I had a peek at who's coming, and this is somebody I don't know if a lot of people know about. He calls himself the model dude. He 3D prints 1/48 vehicles, and his real name is William Hughes, and he has told me he's going to bring samples of his entire line of 1920s, 30s, and 40s 3D printed vehicles, and they are something else.
That's cool. Yeah. Cool. I mean, listening to you guys talk about this, it's kind of like a prototype meet, a train show, a convention. It's kind of like everything all rolled up into one.
The other thing that's really cool, I think that a lot of people miss, is it's a social event. I mean, I look forward to seeing guys year in, year out. A lot of guys come up from Southern California or come down from Seattle, and we just hang out either at the table or at the bar, and it's just really cool. Really cool.
Well, I mean, that's the common thing, I think, with events like this or even train shows. They're all social events. I mean, we like the trains. I think we're all attracted originally because you're into trains and you want to see what people are doing, but you meet people and make friends. And you always, as a matter of fact, I was at a national NMRA convention that I did a video about on this channel here. It was in 2019. And I went around not only the convention, but at the train show as well, and had people tell their stories. And the common theme was they came for the trains the first time, and they come back for the friendships and the friends. So we haven't talked about Sunday yet. What's going on Sunday?
Well, Sunday is pretty much a repeat of the previous day. We try to offer clinics on both days. Of course, the model contest is over with by then. And it's kind of the wind down of the meet. So people are packing up and going home. We have if you want to come in for Sunday only, again, registration starts at 8 o'clock. Doors are open at 9 o'clock, and it's going to cost you $25 just for that day.
Oh, so you prorated it?
Yes, we did. And there are home and club labs open for visiting on Sunday. And a very, very nice O-scale layout in Mariposa, California, is open for visiting by arrangement. And that information is available for pickup at O-Scale West.
Well, sounds like a great event. Sounds like you've thought of everything. And for anybody who's interested in going, that's going to be happening over Memorial Day weekend from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can go to oscalewest.com to register ahead of time. Guys, thank you very much for joining me here and explaining what this is. I think it's, like I said, you've thought of everything, and I'm sure that anybody going is going to have a great time. So thank you much
for being there. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot.
It looks kind of familiar because we're in the TSG limo with our limo driver, Charlie. Once again, hi, Charlie.
Yeah, I hope I get a good tip.
Oh, yes. I'm getting some gas money for you. I'm saving up some gas money for you to
appreciate the gas money.
Pay for the gas we use in the electric car. So anyway, we're on our way to Dave Loveless's R&D for fun and excitement. And of course, we'll have fun and a great time. That's just what we do. And if there are any interesting jobs or puzzles or things that come up that seem instructional or educational, I'll be sure to bring those to you. We always do. Chocolate today. So my first job today is called the Walker Street Local.
That's entirely reasonable.
It basically switches a part of the yard. Well, let me put it this way. It's in yard limits. It's not really a part of the yard. But it's this area here, all in this little corner. And because it's in yard limits, it's fairly easy to do. Switches all the way out to here, right? It's fairly easy to do because I don't have to deal with any other traffic. It's like working on a branch line. And I'm just starting out right now. I've made my first delivery and arranged my first pickup. And the trick I like to use for this job is I've checked where all my drop-offs are going to be, or set-outs, if you will. And I found that I don't have any set-outs for this. So in this case, I've selected the track where the helium car is to build my outgoing train, which I'm about to do now. Well, I needed a place to store all of the incoming cars. And for that, I chose this little spur here. Now this spur leads to a scrapyard over there on the right. And those two guns at the end of the scrapyard lead they don't have to go anywhere. And this incoming train is just the right length to fit on that track without fouling the switch over here. So I'm going to go into the area behind everything there to do all my pickups. And when I'm done with my pickups, I'm going to set out all of these cars. I'm about to make my final move of picking up everything that I need to pick up by taking these cars that I've left here, and I'm going to add all of those. You see my locomotive down there on the top left? Going to push that boxcar down here and pick all of this stuff up, and then go finish building the train on the track where I left the helium car, and then I'll be ready for all my set-outs. So it's like a methodical process, right? Where you have to do things in a way that's logic. It's a logic puzzle. It's one of the things I like about this. And it's not a puzzle so much that it's made to be a puzzle or to be difficult or anything like that. It's just you have to think through what you're doing logically. It's kind of like those old puzzles. I don't know if you remember those, but it was like a little matrix of plastic squares. And there was one open space. And the trick was you had to move stuff around in order to make the squares go in order. And it would have either been a picture or perhaps numbers that you have to put into order. But you only had the one space that was open to work with. It's kind of like that, only with train cars, and in this case, really nice models, because the models on Dave's layout are all very good, and the highlight really is the power. Our friend Mark brings his steam engines. These are all brass engines, and they run like Swiss watches. So it's really fun. They're smooth. They go slow. It's just great. So I'm switching my outbound train onto that track I was showing you earlier. And at this point, I'm going to just double check that I have all of the correct cars in this train. And once I'm done building the train here on this track, I can get on with all my setouts. So here's what I'm talking about. I've double checked all of the cars and put my cards in order. So 4562 is that one, and 4150 is the next one, and so on. So this is the outbound cut of cars all ready to go. Time to do all my setouts. Okay, so I'm about ready to make my last setting out move here, and it involves putting that reefer under the deck that's on the top left of the picture right now. So I'm going to do something called a delayed release on the couplers. That's where you place the couplers in a way that the locomotive can push the car into position, but it's not actually hooked. It's just the couplers pushing on each other. I'm on to my second job now. This one is the Ord local. This is one of my favorite jobs on this railroad. It's a good switching job. So I should be able to arrive where I'm going before lunch. and then hopefully finish the job after lunch. So on this railroad, the branch line is on the top level, and you have to traverse a helix to get there. And that's what I'm doing. So this is a little off topic, but I was just using the facilities and I noticed this guy's looking at me. All right, so this is after lunch, and I've just finished all the work I had to do at the town I was in, and I'm at a siding waiting for a meet, because this is a earlier era layout where passenger trains actually have priority, unlike what we have nowadays with Amtrak getting held up for freight.
All right, your escape turnout is set.
And once that passenger train is gone, I'm on my way. And the locomotive is running tender first because there's nowhere to turn it where I was working. There's no Y or turntable there. It's kind of busy. For the camera. It's kind of busy right here, right now.
Oh, it's like busy here, eh?
Hey, I'm from Canada. Hey, sorry.
Sorry, eh?
Sorry, eh?
That's a lot of trains.
Sorry, buddy. Hi, this is a bit later, and we've just finished up another great session at the R&D. And so we're headed back with the chauffeur. And Charlie, you worked the yard again all day, didn't you?
Yeah, Mark and I did the yard. I love doing the yard work, and it was interesting because there were no locals out on the railroad when we started, so we sent a few things out, and we were idle for a long time, and all of a sudden, bang, then we had a ton of work, which is kind of fun. So I certainly enjoyed it, and I like working with Mark, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Mark's engines work really well, too.
They're beautiful, yes. They're just...
And we were hearing something else about how it was the first time for something.
Yeah, first time at Dave's that I felt completely comfortable with whatever job might come up in the clipboard box. So it was great. I did some passengers, did a through freight and sand train. So a lot of operating today, and I was ready for anything.
That's it from the op session. Signing off. And now for the catches of the month. Matthew Martin sends in these shots of steam on the Strasburg Railroad. All of these were taken on the afternoon of Sunday, April 20th, and the power that day was ex-Great Western Railway number 90. This 210 originally worked hauling sugar beets in Colorado before being sold to the Strasburg Railroad. It recently completed its FRA-mandated 1472-day inspection and was repainted into the more elaborate paint scheme it wore during the 1990s. This shot was taken at the railroad's main station, located in Strasburg, as number 90 pulls in. These still images were taken at Cherry Hill, the midpoint of the railroad where trains usually meet. The next picture shows number 90 sitting next to the restored interlocking tower located in Strasburg. Here's number 90 running around its train in Strasbourg as it prepares to head west. This shot shows number 90 and its train running through the Pennsylvania farmland. Thank you so much for sharing. These are some really good catches. If you have a train or model catch you'd like to share, please email it to podcast@tsgmultimedia.com. Be sure you own the shots and include the what's, whens, and wheres of the shots you send in. Now, before I go, I want to invite you to check out events that may be happening in your area. It's usually as easy as doing a Google search for events in my area or something like that. The weather's getting nicer, and there's plenty of historical societies that could really use your support. Hope to see you on the TSG train crew soon. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed this program, please join the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. TSG Train Crew members get behind-the-scenes access and ad-free sneak previews in 4K ultra-high definition. Go to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia for more information.